Angela is one of those tanks not that many people know how to play or even try to play. So I figured, why don't I create a short but complete guide on everything to know about Angela. I'll be talking about her kit, her niche techs, so you guys can get 100% out of her no matter what rank you are. Angela is our first and only flying tank with a base health of 550 HP, which can be increased to 700 HP when in her landing form, which we will get to later. He has a spear that has a range of around 7 meters. This is really good, as whilst other melee characters like Hope only have 5 meters, she can poke from a slightly further distance, as well as the width of her collision on the spear is bigger, allowing her to poke without actually hitting the enemy directly. When Angela is in her land form, she gains dual axes. These axes have 3 attacks. The first 2 attacking normally, but on the third attack launches her forward, dealing a little bit more damage than the first 2 attacks. When in her landing form, she also has feathers, golden feathers on the floor that help deal damage within a certain radius of around 50 meters. When inside this radius, she also gains overshield, which is given to her and her teammates, as well as faster movement when in this radius. The feathers don't do that much damage, so what you want to do is you want to land when enemies are low, so you can quickly kill and get out of land form as quick as possible. Also, when you land, you don't get cooldown, but when you're leaving land form into your air form, you get a cooldown of 12 seconds. Now, let's move on to the shield. The shield has 350 HP that blocks damage for herself due to how small the shield is. Think of it like a Captain America shield. This shield shouldn't be used to block sustaining damage, but more a burst of damage, like a mag ult, an Iron Man ult, maybe a few Hela ults. You can use the shield in both your air form and your land form. Taking damage with the shield up helps build up charge in the middle of the bar. A fully damaged shield fully replenishes the bar at the middle. The little bar in the middle of the screen only charges up when you're in land form. You must be moving forwards. When moving to the left or the right, or even backwards, it does not charge at all. This bar also does not charge at all in land form, no matter what. The only way it charges is when you take damage with your shield. I did a few tests to see if charging up the bar in the middle when in your land form, then attacking, does more damage than not charging up at all and then attacking straight away. It seems to do a little bit more damage, but honestly, I don't think the damage is big enough that you should be doing this all the time. Now, let's move on to Angela's shift. Angela's shift, her dash, allows her to fly at an incredible pace. Looking at the bar to your left, you can see it slowly goes down the longer you hold it for. This, once fully depletes, will have a 6-second cooldown. Now, let's move on to her ult. Angela's ult is a 2-parter. The first part is the initial ult press. It shoots a spear into the enemy, and any enemy within a certain radius, I think is around 10 meters, is hooked up to the spear. All movement abilities is disabled, basically the all-rounded, but they can still move out of the spear within a 50-meter radius. They just can't use any ability movements to get out. So keep that in mind. Now, the second part of the ult is once the enemies are in the ult, you can press the ult button again to fly into the ult, landing on the ground, producing the same feathers that you would if you were to do it in your land form. Now here's a neat trick. You can actually fly up and land again if you haven't landed before you ulted, allowing you to have 2 of the same feathers on the floor. It doesn't give you any overshields or make you faster, just the first one does. However, what it does do is it does more damage. This could be the difference between you killing an enemy or not. Now, let's move on to the tips and tricks that I think every Angela player needs to learn. Number 1, melee weave. Melee weaving allows Angela to do more damage. Due to how slow Angela's primary attack is, melee weaving actually helps, allowing you to do more damage and makes it seem like attacking faster, so you kill the enemies quicker. Also, there's one where you put your shield up, but I don't really think that adds anything to it. It's basically the same thing. For the second tip, I completely forgot to tell you that you can grab enemies with a dash. My bad. Let me quickly run over it. What happens is when you dash, you can grab enemies onto your dash. You can grab up to 2 enemies on your dash. However, the more enemies on your dash, the slower you fly. This is very good for displacements where you fly behind the enemy backline, grab their tanks or supports and fly them into your backline so your team can kill them. This is basically like her bread and butter. She's like Wolverine if Wolverine was a tank basically and could also fly. That's basically how she works. Tip number 2, like I was saying from before, make sure the middle bar is fully charged up before attacking the enemy. This is because when fully charged up, it knocks enemy backwards and it stops us from getting stunned or frozen by immediately just charging head first. When they're knocked up, then we charge into them, dashing straight ahead to our teammates. Then at the end we should have a little bit extra charge so we can knock them again. If we do this on a weak or squishy character, we can be able to lower their health significantly, that when we land we can quickly kill them and fly back up. Now, you could immediately dash into the enemy without having to primary fire them, but the only reason why I would recommend this is, well, it's going to be very telegraphed and they can see when you're charging up, so they will just move out of the way or they'll freeze you. And due to the fact that when you're charging up as Angelo, you don't have that good of a turning ability. Now, I really like the way Angela is played. I think she's a really fun character, but I do think that she's quite hard, especially in this state with the amount of CC and displacement that can happen. You could be flying and next thing you know, Invis pulls you, Luna freezes you, you get Bucky pulled, you get Hulk stunned. It's ridiculous. Due to that, I think that people that want to play Angela, especially in higher ranks, are going to find it really hard to play her, while people in lower ranks probably may not fully understand how the kit works and may not be able to fully utilize Angela's kit to its maximum, as she is one of those characters where you need communication with your team, as if they can't see that you have pulled in a Mag or a Luna and they ignore them, it could be the difference between you winning the game or losing the game. Overall, I think that Angela is a 7 out of 10. I think she is decent to pick up, she's hard to learn. I think she has a place in the meta, but I don't think she is meta. She's definitely one of those niche characters that does one thing and does it well. As due to the introduction of the dinosaur, she's pretty much obsolete. There's nothing that she can't do that the dinosaur does better, and she can't even pick up the dinosaur because the dinosaur is CC immune. This makes her one of the worst tanks to play in my opinion. I think she's even worse than Penny, especially in the higher ranks.